A very warm welcome to Eye on the Money, the television show that gives you insights into how to improve your financial well-being as well as make your money work for you. I'm Ingrid Nantege, and on the show today we discuss insurance as a safety net. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a huge impact worldwide on people's lives, families, and communities. For Kenya's insurance industry, the fallout from the pandemic was expected to result in an increased number of health, travel, and business interruption claims, coupled with reduced sales volumes and fewer face-to-face interactions with customers. At the same time, COVID-19 was also viewed as a turning point for the insurance industry, which would enable insurers to demonstrate their purpose and value to society. Joining me on the show today to discuss the state of the insurance sector 1 year into the pandemic, as well as the benefits of insurance, is none other than Davis Ongiro, the General Manager, Octagon Insurance Brokers Limited. Welcome to the show, Davis.
Thanks for having me.
It's always such a pleasure. And it's so strange that I'm having you back on the show 1 year after we had this conversation on insurance.
That's too long time.
Right? But I'm sure you have a lot more information to me about, what has happened in the sector. Now, before we even get into the gist of the conversation, we took to the streets of Nairobi to sample the views of the Kenyans on the topic. Have a look.
Insurance is a very positive thing in the society because they come in handy when, it's all about money, of course. So they are very helpful in the personal life, depending on the insurance that you take.
Insurance is good, and it's there to help save lives. And it's good that everybody has insurance to ensure that their families are protected, and also they are able to achieve their long-term goals.
Na understand kidogo tu juu ya kukava some issues. Na understand kidogo.
We have different insurances, car insurance, life insurance, medical insurance. But for now, tangu last year up to now, sidhani kama kuna insurance imenisaidia chochote.
Actually, I don't have an insurance, and reason being, I don't have a consistent source of income, because also insurance, you need to pay the premium, all those kind of stuff. And if you don't have source of income, you cannot get an insurance. So to some people, they cannot access the insurance because it also doesn't come cheap. It comes with money. So you must have a source of income where you can also pay the premiums for the insurance.
Yes, I have. I have because I have a family, and the reason is so that my family is protected in the event that I'm not there. And also, I'm also able to save and develop the culture of saving.
Niko na car insurance na niko na medical insurance, hiyo NHF, lakini siku hizi silipi.
Mimi sijachukua, lakini sababu ni mingi. Unajua venye COVID ilitokea, ndio nilikuwa nimemaliza shule, alafu hiyo time sasa, unajua mzee wangu akuja kwa msika, alikuwa Kikuyu Hospital, so kungangana singepata time ya kuchukua.
Kama insurance inakusaidia medical, zingine zinakuwa rahisi, because health ndio kitu ya kwanza. Vitu kama hizi zingine ni kawaida. Wezi anza kuniambia tutanipatia insurance ya shule na wezi nilipia ya medical.
At this time, insurance is very important, considering we are having many lives lost, many families affected, and for people who had taken insurance earlier, and now their policies are maturing, they are able to get that cushion during these difficult times.
During the pandemic, I think insurance plays a big role in covering, maybe you are sick, you see, insurance will cover some cost or maybe total cost of if you are sick. But for a person like me, I don't have an insurance, so I'm at a high risk. If I have some savings and I'm sick, I'll have to use a lot of my money instead of the insurance. So now I'm at risk.
Venye inaweza kukuboost kwa vile sasa hii kuna kiangazi sana sasa waweza pata backup kiwa umeishua mali yako.
Venye mzari kwa msik, at least hiyo bill inaenda juu kitu kama 120, wajaribu kumsaidia kitu kama 97,000.
Insurance ni mzuri, not even COVID. Saizi kwanza cancer iko juu sana kuliko hata hiyo COVID. But now you find, unaona kama sasa, I have a friend aligonjeka, aliungua in fact. Fika Kenyatta hana hata cover, So you have to pay 20,000 to admit to a general ward. Kama ni private, it's very expensive, they can't afford. But it's good to have just the insurance. Kama ikusaidia itasaidia somebody else. Let's promote our insurance. Let's promote each other. Kama kuna mwenzako mwenye afford, try hata kumlipia insurance. Wacha kungojea vile amegonjeka ndio unaanza kumlipia hiyo pesa kidogo. Let's promote each other. Hiyo 500 tu, per year ni 6,000. It's very important.
Now, Davis, you've heard what the people think about insurance. Now, as the expert, and I would really like to start with the basics. 1 year on into COVID-19, what would you say of the state of the insurance sector in the country right now?
Thanks once again, Ingrid. We have the 2020 was a complete shocker, I think, for almost everyone, and particularly so for the insurance companies. But I think, again, it was a blessing in disguise because the pandemic has created opportunities for the insurance companies in one way or the other, in my opinion. One particular opportunity is that now, more than ever before, people realize that there is a need for insurance. There is need for protection, even if it is for basic protection for income or even medical cover. People are realizing that they need insurance more than ever before. We have had a very good example. We have had like medical covers now. People realize that they need a medical cover. For you to get a decent medical attention when you get sick, especially from COVID, you need a proper medical cover to take care of you. So for you to be able to have that, then you either have the cash in your hands or you have a medical cover to take care of you. So for me, I think it's a blessing in disguise. It has created opportunities. Suddenly people have realized that risk is an important factor, and COVID demonstrated how risk can be very devastating to economies. And you see, like now, people who lost jobs during that time, you'll be so surprised if you had an income protection cover, then you will be paid your salary for some few months, depending on the contract you have with your provider for the same. So look at it. People have their different opinions about insurance, but I usually think insurance is like Jesus Christ to the sinners. Comes at the right time, came to save. Much as we crucified Jesus Christ, we crucified the insurance sector, but look here, it is now the solution to all our problems.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And in line with that, Davis, even as you categorically say that people have now actually come to realize how important insurance is, and this has obviously been brought about by the pandemic. If there's anything the pandemic has shown us, is it has shown the gaps in our healthcare. It has shown the gaps in our businesses. It has shown the gaps in our lives. So it has really pushed a lot of people to have to make, decisions to make sure they're on top of it. But even as you say that people have realized the importance of insurance, has this directly translated into increased uptake? Because we all know what the figures looked like and the general perception of its elitist. Would you say this has also then in turn translated into more people taking up insurance? And what does that mean for the industry?
Maybe we are still waiting for the figures from IRA to see whether, in terms of a general outlook, whether the numbers grew from the paltry 2.5. I think our insurance penetration in this country is terrible. Yes. Being at below 3% of population, and probably out of that 3%, majority is being held by NHIF. It's terrible, but I expect maybe the numbers could slightly improve. But as you notice, Ingrid, this will be realized in the long run. Might not be very immediate. Those who probably realize they need insurance probably don't have income as yet. It's now they are trying to recover and all that. So for that to happen, it takes a bit of long time. But truth be told, we must be able to see some slight improvement in terms of growth of numbers. Coupled up with the recovery, the demand that has been created, and the recovery in the economy and circulation of money. Once that is, the demand and supply of those factors is taken care of, for me, I think we should be able to see some sort of improvement.
Brilliant.
I'm very optimistic. Yeah.
Me too. Now, Davis, even as we talk about an industry, we saw a lot of different disruptions in different industries, almost across the board. And as a result, different companies, different organizations, different individuals, businesses had to somehow modify the way they do things to fit into the current realities in order to stay afloat. As an industry, how did you do that? Because I feel like, if anything, the insurance sector should have been able to really win from this pandemic. So as an industry, then, how did you take advantage? How did you modify, innovate around the COVID-19 realities to just make sure now people gain a lot more from the sector?
You realized, Ingrid, during that time, you can't even be able to go and see someone.
Yes.
Especially last year, it was so scaring. At least towards the end of last quarter and maybe early this year, people started to get courage and realize this thing is not even going anywhere. It looks like it's going to stay longer with us. So you see, when you realize that a problem is going to stay longer, you can only try to move around it, but you can't be able to run away from it. And what, especially for the insurance sector, what I've seen, or what we have really done, is leveraging on technology a lot. Now within seconds, Ingrid, you can purchase insurance, like motor vehicle. You can purchase within 3 minutes online. Tap, put your ID number, put your motor vehicle registration number. Once you do that, and you maybe provide maybe your email address, within 3 minutes you already have your certificate in your email. You see, that is not something that years before people were thinking that they should prioritize in terms of technology. It wasn't such a priority. So we have had a new frontier in terms of distribution, in the sense that now you can't meet people physically, but you have to do something different. Also now, things like webinars now, they are helping a lot, especially getting to the mass market, where you wouldn't be able to meet them again. I think it's easily growing, easily changing the narrative. So I think there are many others, but for me, what came out outstanding is the use of technology.
Right.
And that is also showing us that we can be able to do business very easily and very cheaply, without having to send somebody all the way to Kisumu to go and sell. You can easily call a client online and tell, let's do a meeting, and we close business. And probably that could be the next changer in the whole industry dynamics here.
So even as we talk about how, as an industry, you've had to modify, take advantage of technology to just reach a bigger clientele, what about when it comes to product innovation? Coming up with a product that fits into the current needs of the individuals. What do we have out there? And you could even speak specifically for Octagon Insurance Brokers.
Okay. One of the, you realize, like now, usually like a disease like COVID never used to be, pandemics never used to be covered in insurance. Now growingly now, you realize that there is no way you are going to sell insurance if you're not talking to somebody's heart. And let me give a quick example. If you are a preacher like me, Ingrid, when you go to preach, the first thing I need to identify is your basic needs. If I don't address your basic problem, then it will be difficult for me to preach. Just the same way with insurance. Everyone is being affected by COVID. So if you don't deal with the problem, then it will even be difficult for you to sell the other services to them. And that is why you realize that we have had to modify products. In modifying the products, you realize, like now, medical cover, we've negotiated a cover with insurance companies that now accommodates people even with COVID. You can be able to be treated, you can be able to be given medication, you can be tested using your medical cover. And it has a generous limit for that medical cover limit. And the other thing you'll realize, like group life now, they have exempted the issue of pandemics, especially COVID, so as to be able to take care of issues to do with death that might result as an issue of COVID. So a lot has changed, and the products have been aligned in a way that they can also be able to take care of the people at the moment with the problems that we have at hand, which is COVID. So you realize we have the industry, almost every product now, it is compliant with that, with the state of the demand in the market, which you must be able to cover people in COVID,
Right. Now, with that even being said, and also we mentioned like the reason why, at least according to the industry players that I've talked to, the penetration still remains very, very low. Again, it's perception. So my question is, as an industry, and even as someone who's sitting out there and I'm still thinking, no way, these guys just want my money. What if I pay this money and nothing happens to me and I still don't get out of it? Why, if you're telling someone at home right now, why now more than ever it's important to take up insurance, what would you say? Like, why is it so important? What are the benefits?
Wow. And thanks for that. Now insurance is becoming like a basic need. The Maslow hierarchy of needs, I usually think now insurance should also be at the bottom, or not just at the second layer. Reason being is that everyone now needs insurance. It is like compulsory. Now, government, for example, introduced universal healthcare. Now, every home now is going to be covered on NHI, for example. Why they are doing that is to ensure that everybody is covered on medical, so that then when you might have a problem, you'll be taken care of. But when you don't have a problem, or when I'm not sick, Ingrid probably could be sick.
Correct.
That is how insurance works, pulling our funds together, so that when I'm sick, Ingrid can take care of me through that fund. When I'm not sick, I can also take care of Ingrid using that pooled fund. We have many other reasons to have insurance at this particular time, but the most important thing is that you need to protect your future. You need to have it secure. The only way you can have it secure is to ensure you have a cover that takes care of those needs. Let me give a quick example, like medical. You realize nowadays, every time we're having people's bills are growing. You find, I saw somebody with a bill of almost 3.7 million, and I was reading somewhere in the morning, 3.7 million of a bill, and actually the person is already dead. So you can imagine how terrible that can be to a family. But surprisingly, if this person had a medical cover of 5 million, for example, 5 million could have been able to take care of a very huge chunk of that bill. And you know, the premiums for 5 million, a decent medical cover of 5 million and an outpatient corresponding to that limit, probably it is less than 200,000 as annual premium.
Right.
Compared to the 3 million you will end up spending, you see, you will end up putting your title as a how do we call it, as collateral.
Yes.
For against the medical bills for somebody who has already died. What if you took 200,000 and put it into a medical cover? You are treated and go home. Whether you are dead or you are alive, at least you won't leave your family suffering. You know, sometimes I think we are very emotional when it comes, we are not logical, most of us, when it comes to making a decision on insurance, and that hurts us or hurts our next of kin, because when it catches up with us, we leave these people to deal with the bills. But if we rationally made a decision to purchase medical cover, to purchase a group life cover, for example, with critical illness, what that means, when you die, or even if you have to die, or the critical illness makes you incapable of being able to work again, you are given something. You are given a lump sum.
Right.
Or you are given a monthly income, depending whether it is temporary total disability or temporary partial disability, or whether it is permanent disability. There is something insurance will always pay you. So what if you make that decision to have, so that in case anything bad happens, you leave your family safe? Yeah. Families are extremely suffering because of medical bills and bills generally, especially when we lose loved ones. So
yeah, that's true. It's a catch-22 between properly grieving your loved one and then also figuring out, oh my God, how am I going to actually take care of all these expenses? So this insurance comes in the place of you just focus on grieving your loved one, and then there's a cover to take care of everything.
And,
Dave,
and maybe on a light note is, when you've left something behind, people will even remember to put you on the newspaper every year to celebrate you because you were a hero. But when you leave them with debts, they can't even remember to celebrate you.
Davis,
on a light note.
we're going to take a very short break right now, but you're going to talk to us a lot more about insurance and why it's something everyone needs to consider taking. Don't go anywhere. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation by sending your feedback to our social media handles at Metropole TV KE, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll be right back.
Thank you.